Hey, what's going on, Internet? So today we're here to talk about why the Galaxy S5 doesn't suck. Now, I normally like to make videos when it's light out because I like natural light. I just think it looks better, but the Internet is kind of in a frenzy right now, so I feel kind of compelled to make this. So this was the technology blogosphere yesterday. All in favor of a Metal Galaxy S5, please say aye. Me, I want it. And this is them today.
Samsung, how could you do this? You suck!
Now, I get it. People are upset. I understand that. I want a Metal Galaxy S phone as much as the next guy. But hopefully after watching this, you kind of understand why it's not impossible, but not as feasible as you might think. So before we get on the major topic, let's talk about a couple little things about why it doesn't suck. First off, it's got a nice camera. It's ever improving. The megapixel race is still going to go on. We don't have it in our hands. We can't see it to really say if it's an improvement, but it bumped up. It went from 13 to 16. It must be better, right? That's what every consumer is going to think. Two, it finally has IP57 water and dust resistance. So that's good too. That's a big requested feature. It's got the latest Snapdragon processor. It's got a little bit bigger battery. Now, this is not a plug to Samsung because I actually don't even like them much anymore. I think they're getting too monopolistic. I use an LG phone. But I think since the Galaxy S3, we've become really, really spoiled. Because from the S2 to S3 was a big change. From the S3 to S4, not so much. And from the S4 to S5, not so much. But there's still nothing to sneeze at. They're very respectable. Now, Samsung has way too much crap on their phones. Some of it's useful. Some. But for the most part, I think it's just junk. So now, let's talk about why primarily it's not as feasible as we think to have a Metal Galaxy phone. Now, I'm not an expert, I'm not an economist, but I'm a business major, and I can kind of see a little bit into that aspect of it. I'm not a professional, but let's explain a little bit. So let's assume, we're just going to use clean numbers. They're all probably going to be high, but let's just assume that it's going to cost Samsung $200 to make a Galaxy S5. It's probably high, probably around $100, $150. We're assuming. Out of that $200, let's say it costs $50 to gather the aluminum for one phone. They're probably going to make and sell a good 50 million because since the original Galaxy S phone, over 200 million, almost quarter billion have been sold. That's ridiculous. So assuming it's going to cost them that much per phone, it's going to cost $2.5 billion just for the aluminum. That's only a fourth of it. That's a lot of money. Now those are all high numbers, high estimates, and we know that the phones are ridiculously price marked. But that in and of itself is a lot. Now, here's where the business part comes in. This is all assuming that aluminum, in this case, is a fixed price, which is not the case. When you buy and produce anything, the raw material is going to cost a certain amount. And then as you sell more and make more, it's going to fluctuate. When you start a business, there's startup costs. And then as you begin producing, in this case, using the aluminum, the price is going to actually go up. Why? Well, because you haven't gotten in the groove yet. You don't know how to make it. Well, then as you get better, then it'll eventually go down. But then as the resource becomes harder and harder to find, it's going to go up again. So people need to understand that while I want it as much as the next person does, and I think it'd be awesome, and it's possible because Apple does it pretty well with all of their devices, it's not as feasible as you might think, because on top of the fact that they have to make them, they have to ship them globally. There are many, many different factors. Assuming it takes $200 to make a phone, that's only to make it. Then you got to pay for the actual labor, then to ship it out, then to have the certification. So it costs way, way more than people think. I'm not plugging Samsung. I think they're okay. But I think we are getting spoiled first off, and it's a good thing. We have many, many different options. That's a good thing to be spoiled. But I think we need to take a step back and realize this is just a phone. We're not obligated in any way, shape, or form to buy it. It's a product, and it's good. Samsung's a big corporation, a big business, and people are going to follow them. So they're focusing more on what matters, supposedly. We have yet to see that. So my hope is that the Galaxy S6 is what a true testament to that would be. focusing on what really matters, getting rid of some of the junk. Now, I want to know what you guys think, but I want you to keep it polite and be respectable. So, please tell me your opinion. I will gladly have a intelligible, I don't even want to say debate, but a conversation with you. Let me know your thoughts. If your view opposes mine or anybody else's, that's perfectly fine. I don't consider that flaming. I consider it a conversation. Be polite and do not be rude, and we're all going to be happy. And I think we're all going to learn something from it, because I know I'm first off, not the only person who thinks this. Second, I'm not 100% right. And third, there are many aspects I'm not even taking into account. So let me know. So while you're commenting, do me a gigantic favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with my channel. I've got another video or 2 or 3 coming up this week, actually, depending on when I can squeeze time in between classes. So that's all for today. That's why, my friends, the Galaxy S5 does not suck as much as you think. I didn't say not at all. Just kidding. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.